What's up, y'all? This is Jose with Oakland Latinos United, aka Oakland Latinos Unidos, on here with another spill, another video for you guys to enjoy. Today we're doing Live with Jay, number 86. And it looks like we don't really, man, every time I do a live, there's always a bunch of people in here. I'm surprised there's hardly anyone in here. So maybe I'll wait a little bit till I officially start this live, let some more people come in. Who's on here? Leave it in the comments. What's up? I see Shortcuts is here. Anybody else on here? Because I mean, if I start it now, no one's gonna even know what the context is about. You feel me? But but yeah, the Mexican E40, Master P, the ice cream man, huh? Where's everybody at? What's up, Esepeda? We got Esepeda. I'm telling you guys, I don't know what it is. Every time I try to do something about Sacramento, I don't know if people just don't want me talking about Sacramento, but they're always my least viewed videos. Every Sacramento video I've ever done has always been the least viewed video, and I don't know why. That always surprised me. I've done videos about Stockton. I've done videos about Modesto. I've done videos about Fresno. And those videos all have thousands of views. But every time I do a Sacramento video, they hardly ever even get not even 100 views. I never understood why. That's always been kind of weird. But the reason I wanted to talk about Sacramento is because it's a place does it say tomorrow? No. You sure? Hold on. Let me double check that. Give me a second. I gotta check that. Because if it is, I'm gonna stop this live and redo it. If it really does say that. Because I put today. Hold on. No, I don't think it says tomorrow. Does it? You guys tell me. No, it's for today. I don't think it's for tomorrow. The Rock loves Sacramento. No, did it say it was free? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it was for tomorrow. That's for sure. But I just noticed when I do videos about Sacramento, they don't get as much love. I don't understand why, for reals. But why am I talking about Sacramento? Well, those of you who might know my story or have heard me talk about my past, um, what's up, Lucrative Sounds? I've mentioned from time to time that I used to live in Sacramento. I actually have a secret to tell you guys. You know what I mean? That you guys never knew. I'm actually from Sacramento, born and raised. Now I'm just messing with you. Hell nah. But no. But for reals, I've talked about that I lived in Sacramento, but I've never really gotten to deep detail why I lived in Sacramento, how I ended up down there. You know what I mean? And I've talked about my experience, like when me and Shortcuts went to the high school I used to go with out there, Hiram Johnson High School. Um, and uh, and I told Shortcuts a little bit about how we ended up out there, but I've never like in depth talked about why we ended up in Sacramento from East Oakland out to Sacramento. And it's kind of, I don't even know to this day. I'm still, and it was my own family that took me out there. I'm still tripped out of how we ended up out there. I don't even know. I'm still trying to find out myself. And the reason I say that is because I'll tell you in a minute, but I feel that in the history of doing my channel, I've never done a live or a video that specifically talks about my time in Sacramento. You know what I mean? I've done a couple, and like I said, the very few I've done, they had very little views, which sucks. But because that's part of my history a little bit. But you know, hopefully, and even this live. I mean, this live only has 7. Usually, my lives start out with hella people. There's hardly anyone on here. I guess I don't. Maybe my audience just doesn't care about listening about Sacramento or something. I have no clue. Which I'm just saying what I noticed. You know what I mean? But I'm going to talk about basically my experience living in Sacramento. The only time I technically ever lived outside of the Bay Area, because let's face it, Sacramento is not the Bay Area. I don't know if you could consider Sacramento to be the Central Valley or is that the Sacramento Valley? I'm not sure what it is. It's out in the valley. That's all I know. Um, and the crazy thing, it's only an hour away from the Bay Area, and it's a completely different world. I mean, and uh, it's a completely different world to the Bay Area in many respects. I mean, maybe now it's changing. Maybe now that there's more people living in from the Bay Area moving to Sacramento because it's so damn expensive in the Bay Area. Maybe a lot has changed out there. But like I said, I lived out there almost 30 years ago, so I have no clue what Sacramento is like today. You know, I go out there from time to time because uh, I got a lot of family in Sacramento, and partly I have a lot of family in Sacramento because I used to live there. A lot of family that we had gravitated to Sacramento. You know what I mean? So, yeah, to be honest with you, I actually have more family now in Sacramento than I do here. You know, but I kind of want to get into the story of how I ended up out there, why I ended up out there. And again, the why and how, I'm still trying to figure it out myself because I don't really know why we ended up out there. There's little increments that I'm going to tell you that might be the reason we ended up out there, but how we ended up out there is the kind of the weird one because we didn't know anything about Sacramento beforehand. None of my family would ever go out there. I don't ever remember going out there as a kid, ever, not even to the state capitol. You know what I mean? I had never been there. I knew nothing about it. You know, I knew zero about it. The only thing I kind of knew was the Capitol. That was about it. But outside of that, I didn't know anything about it. You know what I mean? You know, for me as a kid, you know, from the time I was born till I was 14 years old, all I knew was Oakland and the Bay Area. I didn't know nothing about anything outside of the Bay Area, period. Like I had never been, like I had maybe been to Modesto once and Stockton once to visit an uncle that used to live out that way. I remember going through Tracy one time when I was a kid, and there wasn't really much out there at the time. I remember going to the San Jose flea market. You know what I mean? But outside of that, all I knew was Oakland, Fruitvale, East 7th Street, Jingletown, the 30s, the 40s. You know what I mean? Alameda, Hayward, San Leandro, you know, Berkeley, Richmond, San Pablo. That's all I knew. San Francisco, the Mission District. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything outside of that world. You know what I mean? If it wasn't that world, I didn't know anything about it. You know, the world was very small to me at that time. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, I had actually went more to LA when I was a kid than to Sacramento. Like I had hella family in LA. I would go to LA all the time with my family to visit family out there. So I knew more about, honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. By the time I was 14, I knew more about Echo Park, about East LA, about San Fernando Valley, and about MacArthur Park than I did about anything in Sac. Some real talk, because I had all my family lived in those areas. I knew about Echo Park before Mi Vida Loca even came out. You know what I mean? Because we used to go out there all the time to visit family. I had family in East Los. I had family in Echo Park. I had an aunt that used to live by MacArthur Park. My aunt on my Salvadorian side and all my cousins on my Salvadorian side lived in San Fernando Valley. They lived in Reseda, Northridge, in those areas. You know what I mean? And I had never, ever even set foot in Sacramento. So imagine that. Just put yourself, I didn't know zero. Sacramento was like alien land to me. I didn't know nothing about Sacramento. And you gotta remember, at the time, this is 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, around that time, you know, some of the people in my family were involved in some shit in Oakland. I'm not even gonna lie. You know what I mean? My brother, you know, he was gang banging hard at that time. You know, 36 locals out there getting in trouble. You know, motherfuckers coming after him. You know, just a lot of crazy things, things I can't talk about. But my brother was deep in the game. Let's just put it like that. You know what I mean? And it was kind of tearing my family apart a little bit, to be honest with you. Outside of that, my dad, he passed away, so it really don't matter. My dad ran with some pretty heavy people from the neighborhood at that time as well. And, growing up in a messed up environment, the crack epidemic, the gang wars at the time, the BBs and Norteños and all that stuff that was going on, Oakland was off the hook. And it's, if you know your Oakland history, Oakland was the most violent place in Northern California at that time. I mean, those are between 88 till 92. Those were some of the highest homicide rates, you feel me, in Oakland's history. Look it up if you don't believe me. You know, but I remember my family talking about wanting to move out of Oakland because of all the problems that were going on in the town at the time. And also my parents didn't really want to rent for all their lives. They wanted to actually buy a house back then. And I remember we looked into the Deep East for a minute. So I almost grew up in the Deep East, believe it or not. We looked into the Deep East at the time. I can't remember where, but I remember we looked at a few houses in the Deep. And then I remember we looked into Richmond, San Pablo back in those days. That was because my mom had lived in San Pablo when she was younger for a little bit. So my mom always liked the Richmond, San Pablo area. And then my dad I don't know, out of nowhere, my dad suggested Sacramento. And I don't know why he chose that place. I don't know if he had ever really been there. I don't know. And why he chose Sacramento, the only connection that I know with Sacramento that my dad had, the only connection was his family from the Deep, this Mexican family. I can't remember their last name, but I remember the main elder of that family. They used to call him Don Carlos, and they used to live in the Deep. So if you're related to him and you got family in Sacramento and Oakland, my family knew your family. But they called him Don Carlos, and he had hella kids. He had hella, I think they were from Mexico City. I think they were Chilangos. And they were all from Oakland. They were all from the town. Were originally from Mexico City, but grew up, I think, in the Deep, though. They lived in the Deep. And I know Don Carlos ended up buying a house in Del Paso Heights back in those days. And I'm not sure if it was Don Carlos that convinced my dad, you should move out here with your family to Sacramento. I really don't know. I just know my dad got a hard on for Sacramento all of a sudden. And he convinced my mom, let's move to Sacramento. And to me, it was weird because I had never been to Sacramento. I didn't know nothing about that place. Zero, zilch, nada. Yo no sabía nada de Sacramento, ni me importaba, really. And then, next thing you know, they started going out to Sacramento house shopping. And, when I went out there, it seemed cool. It seemed a little bit cleaner than the Bay Area, than Oakland. You know what I mean? At least at the time, a lot of places in Sacramento were a lot more taken care of than today. Because when I go to Sacramento now, there's some places that are just run down that weren't run down at that time. You got to remember, this is 91, 92. And I remember we went house hunting, and we didn't know anything about Sacramento. We somehow found a house out there. I don't remember how. They found a house in South Sacramento on 37th Street near Power Inn Road, near Fruit Ridge Road, if you guys know where that's at. Close to Power Inn, close to, remember there was a street called Wilkinson nearby. So we lived on 37th Street. And we ended up moving out there, and I still to this day remember the first day I lived out there, the street we lived on. And this is no disrespect to anyone from Sacramento. Again, anything I say on here is from 30 years ago. These are my views and my take on the city. So if you're from Sacramento watching, don't get triggered or mad or say I don't like Sacramento. I don't want to hear it. I'm just voicing my opinion of what I thought at the time. So when I got there, it seemed kind of country to me. That I'm gonna keep it real. I'm coming from a fucking major city where there's noise all the time. I lived right by the railroad tracks on East 7th Street, right by the freeway. People walking up and down the streets day and night. People blasting their music all the time. That's what I was used to. You know what I mean? In a weird way, that's what I was used to. And when I got to Sacramento, I remember the street I lived on was pitch black dark. And there was only one street light on the whole street, no lie. Pitch black dark. I was like, what is this? And I remember when I tried to fall asleep that night, it was quiet. I mean, it was quiet. You could hear a pin drop, and it scared the freak out of me. It scared me. I wasn't used to that. To not hear noise, not hear the railroad, not hear, you know what I mean, the freeway. It scared me. Like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? And next thing you know, I'm in Sacramento. This place, I didn't even know what part of Sacramento I was in. I didn't know. I didn't even know the area code of Sacramento. You feel me? I didn't know nothing. Nothing, nada, bro. I was like, I was just, it traumatized me in a way. Because I was like, where the hell am I? What is this? You know what I mean? No friends. I didn't know nobody. Away from the barrio that I grew up all my life and knew everybody since I was damn near in kindergarten in diapers. And I'm over here in this place where I don't know anybody. I don't even know what side of town I'm in. I don't even know if I'm in Sacramento. God knows where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at, bro. I'm like, what is it? So that old saying, I felt like a stranger in a strange land, bro. You feel me? But the crazy thing is that Sacramento's actually a big city. It's not a small town. You know what I mean? It actually is a big city. It probably was a lot smaller then, of course. And we'll talk about that compared to now. But just think about that. You grew up in one place most of your life. Because I had lived on East 7th Street since I was little, bro. Since I could, you know what I mean? Since I could remember, bro, I was on East 7th Street. You know, I knew everybody in the hood. I knew everybody knew me. You know what I mean? Everybody knew me all around, bro. Every hood I went to, somebody knew. Even in Jingletown, people knew me. You know, even on 36, even on 38, some people knew me because of TJ, because I'm TJ's brother. You know, everywhere I went, everyone knew me. And then I'm just in this place where nobody knows me and I don't know anybody. And I don't even know where I'm at. Literally, I didn't know what side of town. I didn't know I was in South Sacramento. I didn't know I was in South Sacramento till about a year later. No lie. I did not know I was in South Sacramento till about a year later. I remember I was trying to make a phone call from my school, because back when they had pay phones, to my mom to come pick me up from the school. And I didn't even know the area code. You know what I mean? I swear to God, I didn't even know the area code of Sacramento. I didn't know it was 916. You know, that's how stupid I was of that area. You know what I mean? And then so I went to, like I said, I went to Calvin Simmons very briefly. I got sick and they did a surgery on me. So I was out of school for a hot minute. Even in Sacramento, I still didn't go to school right away in Sacramento. You know what I mean? Because I was still sick. And then I did end up signing up to a school called Wilsey Wood. So I went there for a little bit. It was a junior high school. I went there for like half a year. And again, you know what I mean? A cultural shock. It was completely different from anything I had seen in Oakland. One of the things I noticed very quickly is that the styles were different. Like people in Sacramento were kind of wearing clothes that people in Oakland hadn't worn in a while. That I did notice off the top. Like in Oakland, fools were wearing, like, I don't know, what's a good thing? Like in Oakland, fools were wearing bands, fools were wearing 501s, fools were wearing Troop. In Sacramento, fools were still wearing like Dickies or like house slippers or like tickets were just different, bro. It wasn't the same as here, bro. You know what I mean? Another thing, yeah, they had khaki, they had cholos in the Bay too, bro, but it was a different style for sure. Now, another thing I noticed was that in Sac at that time, remember this is 30 years ago, so don't compare it to Sacramento of today. I do not want to hear Sacramento people of today saying, that's not us. No, I'm talking about Sacramento 30 years ago. So, uh, the Chicanos in Sacramento were still Chicano style, I would say, in many respects. Even the way they talked, they still had more of the Cholo slang. You know what I mean? Even though in the Bay, like in Richmond and Oakland, in Berkeley, Westside Berkeley, in the Mission, fools were all choloed out back then too. You know what I mean? We already talked hood out there at that time. You know what I mean? Mixed with the Chicano slang, obviously, but we always had that hood swag. So definitely I got that you talk black, you're a mayatero. I got that kind of shit in Sacramento from some Chicanos, bro. No lie. Even some norteños treated me like that out there. You know what I mean? So I did get that out there. So if anyone's gonna say, "Oh no, that's not true," no, it did happen to me. And another thing that tripped me out was the black dudes out there. Uh, they were more on the LA style than they were like the Bay style. Like they were more into Crips and Bloods. They dressed like Easy E or like Ice Cube. They had more of that style. And I didn't even know what Crips and Bloods were. I just knew them from the movie Colors because we didn't have Crips and Bloods in Oakland at that time. You feel me? The Asian Crips hadn't really started getting big out there, but yeah, the Crip and Blood thing was something new to me that I seen in Sacramento, and that was different to me because in the town, we all say Blood, what's up, Blood, and out there when I would say what's up, Blood, fools would trip, like why you saying Blood? You a Blood? And I'm like, what? I remember the first time someone told me that, I was stuck on stupid, like what? What do you mean? They're like, oh, you a Blood? You a Blood, cuz? I didn't even know the Crips say cuz. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm from Oakland. We don't play that red and blue out there like that. And he was like, oh, okay. And, left me alone. But that was another thing. Yeah, some of the cholos did have flag tops, I remember. But, you know what I mean? I remember that was different. Like, the black dudes had more of a, like a LA style to them. You know what I mean? It wasn't like how the Bay, how Oakland fools are. You know what I mean? How they were at that time, you know? And it was just different, bro. It was different for sure. I remember the first summer I spent in Sacramento. That was, man, bro, that was brutal. I wasn't used to 100-degree weather, bro. And I remember one of the first summer's days I felt out there. It was like 100 degrees, bro. I was dying, bro. I was like, what the hell is this? I mean, it was hot. It was like 100 something. I mean, you coming from Oakland, bro, where it's always cool all the time. And it's 100 degrees. You're like, what the hell? 100 degrees? Like, damn. Like, that shit was wild. I never got used to those 100-degree uh, summers, bro. That was just too much. Like, I remember we go outside and fuck, it would be hot, bro. You know what I mean? And yeah, so it was definitely a culture shock, bro, to say the least. It was different than the Bay in many respects, bro. You know what I mean? Now I do remember some cool spots. Like I remember I lived near a mall called Florin Mall at the time. That was a pretty cool little mall. It's not there no more. I think they tore it down. I remember there was also another mall called Arden. That was like in North Sac. Um, there was a cool one in downtown Sacramento called Downtown Plaza. That's where the stadium is today. Where the Kings play. It was called Downtown Plaza. So that was there. That was a pretty cool spot. What else was pretty cool in Sacramento back then? I remember they used to cruise on Broadway back in those days, but I was too young, but I remember it. They used to cruise on Broadway and like this place called Miller Park at the end of Broadway. I remember that. What else? Oh, the State Fair. The State Fair was actually pretty fun. I'd recommend you guys go check it out if you ever get a chance. The State Fair in Sacramento. They have it usually in the summertime. It's hot as hell. It's always best to go at night. You feel me? But yeah, man. It was pretty. It was that was pretty cool. I remember they used to have this thing in in downtown Sacramento on K Street called like a Thursday market or something like that. It was pretty cool. I remember going to it a few times. It was pretty dope. But outside of that, was, there was some pretty good places. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, I remember I used to like to wear Ben Davis and shit like that. I'm from the town from back then, and I remember it was hard to find out there. It was hard to find Ben Davis out there, bro. The only place I remember used to sell them, because in Oakland, bro, if you're from that time, Oakland, there was hella cholo stores back then. There was what? Bonanzas, there was Melrose, there was the Corner, there was the Big and Tall on 36, there was National used to sell some of that clothes, National Dollar. There was a lot of stores, or if you went out to the Mission, Eric's and Mission, Siegel's, hella stores out there that used to sell that kind of clothes. But when I got to Sac, there weren't that many stores out there that sold that kind of clothing. The only one I remember was this very popular one called it was called Joe Son. It was on K Street. And it was kind of like the Corner in many ways in Oakland, the old one that used to be on 34th and East 14th. It was very similar. And I remember buying a few. I was broke, but my parents bought me a few pairs of clothing there. But yeah, that used to be in downtown Sacramento on K Street back in the days. But anyway, so I went to Wilsey Wood, and then I ended up going to another high school. Once I graduated from junior high school, I ended up going to high school, and I went to a high school called Hiram Johnson High School. So those of you who know the Johnson Warriors, yes, I was a Johnson Warrior. Hold on, can you guys see the feed? Let me know, because it looks like the Wi-Fi started tripping real quick. Let me know when you can see me again. Can you see me again? Let me know in the comments. My Wi-Fi was tripping. My Wi-Fi was really tripping the other week. But am I good again? Let me know. Am I good? Press the 1 if you guys could hear me, see me. No worry for Jones. But anyway, okay. If can you guys see me? Press a 1 in the comments if you can see me. If because my Wi-Fi started tripping briefly. Let me know if you can see me. Nobody. We got 13 people. Okay, cool. All right, so after I went to Wilsey Wood, I ended up going to Hiram Johnson High School. Now, Hiram Johnson is where I got exposed to a lot of gang stuff in Sacramento. Again, I know nothing about Sacramento. I don't know what hoods are out there. I don't know who's who, nothing. So I remember I ended up going to this high school called Hiram Johnson, the Hiram Johnson Warriors. I guess I was a Hiram Johnson Warrior. Hiram Johnson was on 65th and 14th Street, I think. And I showed shortcuts. He'd been there. It's a pretty big high school. So I ended up going to Hiram Johnson. And, I'm thinking I moved to Sacramento. This is a cool town. It's probably not hood like Oakland. I'm probably going to have a pretty chill high school. It's probably not going to be bad at all. That's what I'm thinking. Because I'm thinking that I moved to an area that ain't hood. You feel me? But, man, little did I find out that was not the case. Again, for those who are going to say, no, I knew nothing about Sacramento. Remember that. Nothing, zero. So I'm thinking I'm going to a nice school. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to and the school looked clean from the outside. It looked nice. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to a nice school. Cool. No one will bother me. I'll just be able to graduate not be bothered by anyone. And then that wasn't the case, unfortunately. As soon as I got there, I noticed that the school was all messed up at that time. You know what I mean? The classrooms were falling apart. They had bad teachers, not all, but some. Um, they had obvious programs for kids that were good students, and they had a program for the screw ups. I remember they used to have these bungalows in the back, and that's where they kept all the kids. They literally kept the the kids with Down syndrome on one side and the dummies on the other, bro. No lie. That's crazy to think about that. Luckily, I never got into those bungalows, and I tried hard not to get in them. But yeah, the bungalows were in the back. I remember the ROTC building was kind of in the back too. Um, and let me know my Wi-Fi is tripping again. All right, there we go. So you know, this was the reality at that school. Next thing you know, the school is like a damn prison. I remember one day I seen a dude tagging on a book. He tagged BFB. Hey, what's up, Joanna? He tagged BFB. So a B, a F, and a B. And he was like a cholo dude. And I asked him out of curiosity, what's BFB, bro? And he's like, oh, it means Barrio Frank Lone Boys. He's like, where you from? I said, I'm from Oakland, bro. I'm not from here. I don't know nothing about Sacramento, bro. That's why I asked you. He's like, oh, okay. You bang? I said, nah, bro. My brother bangs. I don't. He's like, oh, you're. I said, my brother's in Norteño. He's like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, yeah, that's one of the barrios out here, Barrio Franklin Boys. I said, oh, okay. I didn't know. You know what I mean? That's the first time I'd ever heard of that. So I would see him kicking it with a group of dudes. So I figured, okay, those must be the Franklin dudes. And then I remember I started seeing some dudes throwing this up. They were throwing this up saying diamonds. And I was like, diamonds? What is that? And then I ended up having a class with this one cat. He was hella cool. He was a dude in a wheelchair. His name is Tito. If you're watching this, Tito, what's up, blood? But Tito was from Diamonds. And I asked him, what's Diamonds, bro? What white people doing this? He goes, oh, that's Barrio Diamonds. I didn't know what that was. Again, I'm from Oakland. That's what I told him. I'm from the town, bro. I'm not from here. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's one of the hoods out here, bro. Oh, okay. And then next thing you know, I remember the black dudes, the biggest black hood in that school at that time was called Creek Mob. They were from Elder Creek area or Elder Glen area. So they were the big black group in the school. They were called Creek Mob. And I remember there was some Oak Park Bloods there. There was I can't remember if there was fools from like Meadowview or the Gardens there. That I can't remember. And there was also I don't remember any Del Paso Heights or North Sacramento people there. And then I noticed also there was a lot of Russians at the school. They had like their own crew. I don't know if they were gangbanging, but they had their own crew. They were deep too. And I would say the first time I ever seen like crazy ass Asian gangsters was in Sacramento, even though they had them in Oakland, but I seen them more in Sacramento, to be honest with you. They were deep at the school I went to. They were really deep. But they weren't like Cambodians or like Filipinos like we're used to in the Bay. They were like they were like these other races. They were called Mians and Hmongs, some Laotians too. And they used to have like their own little gang. They were claiming Crip. I can't remember what I think it was called. What they call ATL, I think, or something like that. They were deep though. Them motherfuckers were crazy too, man. I would say if I remember from my memory at that school, the craziest gang were not the blacks or the Chicanos. It was actually the Asians. Them motherfuckers right there, bro. You know that old saying? You fight one bean, you gotta mess with the whole burrito. Well, if you fight one speck of rice, you gotta fight the whole bowl of rice. You feel me? Because them motherfuckers were deep. And when they would get into fights, bro, they would just corner motherfuckers and just mop them up, bro. Them fools were crazy. I'm telling you. I'm not even making that up. You feel me? And I seen like them fools start riots at the school. Half of the riots was because of them. No lie. Half of the riots were like race riots where they would get into it with Norteños or they would get into it with the blacks. You know what I mean? So it was crazy, bro. So I seen some race riots. Um, I seen I seen some gang riots too. Now this is where I experienced in Sacramento's where I experienced the old saying that there were paisas one day, and next thing you know, there were sureños. Now I was cool. I've always been cool with paisas. I never had a problem with the raza. If you were raza, you were raza. Period. I've always been like that. Those who know me, you feel me? Yeah, I'm a Chicano, but my family is paisas. My mom and dad were paisas, so I've always been cool with paisas. I never had a problem with them. So I was cool with a lot of paisas at the school too, and most of them were just paisas, bro. They weren't gang banging or nothing. But then, like that old saying, what started happening was some of them did get beat up or punked by norteños or accused of being sureños. And next thing you know, they're banging sued. Like, what the hell? You were just a regular paisa dude. What do you mean you're a sureño now? So now you had that element at the school, and then that was pretty off the hood too for a time. You feel me? There was a lot of fights between the what they call now upstate sureños and um and the norteños out there in Sacramento. I never got involved in anything out there again because I never felt like I was from there. I always just felt like an outsider out there. No lie, I could never get used to it. I tried so hard to get used to it. You feel me? But I just could never get used to it. I never felt at home there or at peace there. You feel me? They were a mix. Hey, some of the norteños look indigenous, if I remember right. You feel me? There were some fools that were short little dudes, you feel me? So it was a mixture of both. But yeah, man. So it was like I went to Hiram Johnson, and yeah, it was a pretty wild school. I seen race riots there. I seen gang fights there. Uh, I got messed with a few times. I got messed with by the principal, by the vice principal. I used to skip school all the time because I didn't want to be there half the time. And the only reason I never got into anything serious out there or got into no drama with no one, because I didn't know no one. And no one had my back out there. Remember, I'm not from there. So it was not worth getting into drama with people if no one has I'm a loner. I mean, I'm going to get mopped up. You feel me? So that's one of the reasons. It has nothing to do with being scared or nothing. I didn't let people mess with me, but at the same time, I didn't get involved in drama because I didn't have backup. I didn't have my brother. I didn't have East 7th Street. I didn't have the 30s to have my back. I didn't have none of that out there. You feel me? Had I been in Oakland, yeah, I probably would have hella fools that have my back. But out there, nobody had my back. Nobody gave a flying fuck about me. So I just, hey, you do your drama, I'll be right here chilling. You feel me? But you should have started your own gang. I should have. I probably could have. But I know probably short because probably only fools from Oakland, Chicanos there, and that's another thing. That's another thing. I people don't believe me when I tell them this. I guess because people think of Sacramento of today. Again, separate your mind from that. I'm not talking about Sacramento of today. I'm talking about Sacramento 30 years ago. 30 years ago has been a long time. Some of you probably weren't even born 30 years ago. You know what I mean? So at that time, at least in my school, I don't know about the city of Sacramento, but at least in my school, there were very few of us who were from the Bay Area. Very few. I could count them with my fingers. And trust me, I would ask. I would ask all the time, are you from the Bay? Are you from Sac? Are you from the Bay? You know what I mean? So there were very few people from the Bay, very few at that time. Now it's probably a totally different story. Now today people would be like, "What? No people from the Bay? Sac, you crazy?" But back then, none. At least at my school, there was none in Sacramento. I mean, I'm not saying none. No, no, no. I'm not gonna say none. That's wrong. There were very few at my school. I don't remember meeting very many. And the few that I did meet, some of them had moved there when they were so small they didn't remember the Bay Area. They just knew that they were born in the Bay, but brought to Sacramento when they were kids. I met one girl. Her name was Patricia. She was from the Mission. Uh, I met one dude, but I never knew if he was serious or playing around. Who told me he was from Alameda? He was a Chicano dude. I never knew because he would joke around so much, but he knew where Alameda was. Uh, I met I met one dude that I didn't like him after that. I'm not gonna say no names, but he was from the Mission, and he one day he's from the Mission, and the next day he's like, "I'm from soccer on 916." I'm like, "What the hell?" I stopped talking to that dude after that. I said, "What the fuck, bro? You just moved here last year, and now he's all of a sudden, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, from Sacramento, like, oh, nah, I don't fuck with hood hoppers." Um, uh, and I met a couple black folks that were from the Bay. A couple here. I met meeting one dude from Fillmore, from the Mo. I met one dude from Hunters Point. I met a couple black dudes from East Oakland, one from the Doves, and I think one from the Deep. And I did meet a dude from the West who went to he told me he went to Oakland Tech. And I met an Asian dude from Funktown. And I think I met one dude from Fairfield. That's where I learned about Fedlas, because they used to call it Fedlas and the Flax. And that was about it. Oh, and there was one Salvadorian dude who had lived in the Mission for a minute, but he had been living in Sacramento for a long time at that point. But other than that, that was it. That was it. I don't remember anybody else from the Bay. Oh, and my boy Brandon, he was from the Bay. I forgot about him, even though he don't count because he became a sucker. And I'm saying it live. You a sucker if you watching. But anyway, my boy Brandon, sucker ass motherfucker, that fool was from the Bay, and me and him became tight. You feel me? But sadly, he became a sucker, so it is what it is. But anyway, um, yeah, man, that was the only people out there from the Bay Area, man. So I'm sorry, man. When I think about that fool, I get mad. But all the shit I did for him, all the game I laced him up with, all the Oakland passes he got from me, bro. You feel me? And he don't remember that. It's all good. It's all good. Everything in this world comes right back at you. You feel me? But anyway, yeah, that was it, bro. That was the only people I met from the Bay. And yeah, I just felt like a complete loner. Everyone I would meet was Sacramento all their lives, born and raised in Sacramento. Everyone knew everybody since they were in kindergarten. No one could relate to me. You feel me? Um, Nobody cared to relate to me. It seemed like sometimes maybe it was just me. I don't know. I don't know if it was just me, or I don't know if it was just maybe I just didn't fit in there. Because I tried, trust me, I tried to fit in. That but other than that, you feel me? Yeah, it was just different. You feel me? And yeah, so I went to Hiram Johnson for 3 years, and I came to a point, a realization. Yeah, this place just isn't for me. I can't be here no more. And I told my mom one day, I said, "Ma, I don't want to be in Sacramento no more. This ain't my home." She was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "This ain't my home. I don't like it here. I don't want to be here no more." I said, 3 years has been enough. I want to go back home. I want to go back to Oakland or somewhere in the Bay Area, but I do not want to be here. And you got to remember, I was young at the time. Another disadvantage Sacramento had to the Bay Area was was that Sacramento didn't have BART. It didn't have AC Transit. It didn't have Muni. You feel me? And I was a youngster then. I didn't know how to drive yet. You feel me? So it was hard for me. Sacramento's the kind of city, if you don't have a car, it's impossible to get around. Yeah, they do have the bus, and they do have uh the light rail, but at that time the light rail only went to Butterfield, and then it went to Del Paso Heights, but they didn't go into South Sac back then, and the buses weren't that efficient. So it wasn't like here, like when I lived on East 7th Street, I could just walk to the BART, 4 blocks away, and be in the Mission District or in Richmond, or you know what I mean? You feel me? So that was another thing I didn't like, the mobility there. If you didn't have a car, you were screwed basically. And and the hot summers and not knowing anyone there. It's crazy because I got to know Sacramento more when I left it as an adult than I did when I lived there. Because when I lived there, I didn't know how to drive. I was a kid, so I couldn't get around the way I could as an adult. So it's crazy that I could not really get to know Sacramento when I lived there. It's weird. That's weird how I know it more when I left than when I lived there. Because when I left, I would go back to visit family out there, and I started knowing where different areas were. But when I was there, I didn't know anything, bro. I just knew the little area where I lived for the most part. A little bit of downtown Sacramento, a couple little areas in North Sacramento. But outside of that, I didn't know anything. You feel me? But another thing that'll show you how long ago this was and how things have changed in Sacramento. When I lived there, believe it or not, Elk Grove was hardly anything. It was a small little town, few houses. I remember that was the first time I'd ever seen a Walmart was in Elk Grove, because they didn't have Walmarts in the Bay Area yet. So Elk Grove was the only Walmart out there at that time. They didn't even have them in Sacramento yet. So they had a Walmart in Elk Grove, but Elk Grove was nothing. You know what I mean? It was nothing. It was a small town, and it wasn't even a city yet. It was part of the county. And I remember Rancho Cordova was part of the county too. You feel me? Um, uh, there wasn't a city yet. Now it's a city. Now it's its own city. But at that time, it was part of the Sacramento County. And I remember there was areas that exist today but didn't exist then, like that area they call Natomas in North Sacramento. That was nothing. That was nothing. That was just cornfields as far as the eye could see. You know what I mean? Now that area is all built up. You feel me? And I'll tell you that in a minute, Joanna. And what else? Again, I didn't even know Sacramento at the time had a sports team. When I got there is when I learned that the Kings played in Sacramento. I didn't even know the Kings existed. I just knew the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers before that. And let me see. What else? Oh yeah, where the Kings played, the old school Arco Arena, that was nothing either. That was nothing out there. Like where the Arco Arena is, that was just fields as much far as the eye can see. It was just the Arco Arena. That was all that was out there. You feel me? And and I actually worked at Walmart for a little bit. Maybe I'll tell that story one day. But out here in the Bay, not in Sac, I was gone already by that time. What else? Roseville. You know what? Roseville was it was smaller. It was more white for sure back then. The only thing Roseville was known for, they had a big flea market called Denials. They still have it. It's kind of like the San Jose flea market. Yeah, I'm talking about Sacramento team, about my time when I lived there and the differences. And yeah, Roseville was just that area had a lot more white. That's another thing that was a cultural shock to me. No disrespect to any white folks out there. But growing up on East 7th Street, there were no white folks there, bro. It was mostly Raza and black folks, a couple Asian folks. There was maybe like one Portuguese family. You feel me? And but when I moved to Sacramento, I tripped out when I seen white folks in the neighborhood. I was like, white folk, like wow. And at school, you know what I mean? Because obviously there was white folks in Alameda, there was white folks in the Oakland Hills, there's white folks in San Leandro and Berkeley. But when I went to Sac, it was a trip to see like white folks living in the hood, like white trash, a lot of them. You feel me? And that was different to me. I would say that was a cultural shock to trip me out. You feel me? I wasn't used to seeing that. And hey, I'm from the town, bro, so I'm not used to seeing that. So don't tell me anything. You feel me? And at that time, I wasn't used to seeing that, so that was a cultural shock. You feel me? But but yeah, that was another thing that was different. There was a lot of white folks in Sacramento then. It was pretty mixed though. I'll give it one thing: Sacramento has always been pretty racially mixed. There was a lot of raza in Sacramento then, Chicanos, there was blacks, there was whites, there was Asians, Russians. So it was pretty mixed at that time. You feel me? It's pretty mixed now. It's probably more mixed now than then. But it was pretty mixed at that time for sure. I'll give it that. But yeah, going to school and like living around white folks was kind of new to me. It was different. You feel me? I wasn't used to it. It's plain and simply what it was. No, there were really no white folks around my hood, so in the town. But that was another thing. So someone asked me where I ended up graduating. So this goes back to the stories. Actually, there was a community of Tongans at my school. They had like a little gang, I think. It was called like TCG or something like that, Tongan Crip Gangsters or something like that. Uh, but yeah, they weren't deep, but there were some out there for sure. I think in North Sac they used to have Samoan gangs too. They had a lot of Samoans in the North Side. I think South Side might have had a lot of Tongans. But yeah, everyone thought I was Polynesian. I was skinny back then, bro. I wasn't fat at that time. You don't remember that, bro. I was hella skinny. But so what happened was I moved back to the Bay. Okay, this is what happened. When shit, I'm reading the comments. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that, Cepeda. Yes, because I'm glad you reminded me of that. So what happened was when I turned 17, I told my mom I have enough of Sacramento. I don't want to live here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. This is not my home. I don't feel at home here. I don't feel happy here. I don't want to be here. There's no reason for me to be here. I said, so either we're moving, you can come with me, or I'm moving back myself and I'll figure out how to survive back home. But I'm not going to be here no more. And I ran away. I already, by that point, I was already working a little job at McDonald's, part-time job. I learned to drive, and I actually took uh, this car my dad wasn't really using that much, and I came back to the Bay, ran away, and stayed with a friend out here in the Bay for a couple of days, for like 2 weeks, bro. We went to the Mission. We were around Fruitvale, and it just felt like home. I was like, wow, I don't want to go back to Sacramento. I love it here. I was like, how am I going to feel coming back at 17? And I was like, oh shit, I love it here. I don't want to go back. Fuck that place. I want to be here. I was like, I did not want to. I remember the drive back to Sacramento killed me. Like it killed me. Like literally, I wanted to put a fucking stake in my heart, bro, that I had to go back to Sacramento when that 2 weeks that I ran away. And then my sister was living in Alameda at the time. So what happened was my mom came to live with my sister out here. Oh yeah, and I forgot about that. That's how I remember that high school shortcuts, the one you were telling me about, the continuation school, because my sister was living in Alameda, and I went and stayed with her for a couple of days, and I would walk around Alameda, and I remember that high school, seeing the girls coming out of that high school. You feel me? And I remember what ended up happening was my mom ended up moving back out here with my sister, and we ended up moving in the 30s in Oakland. And then my sister then ended up getting another job, and she ended up moving to Vallejo. So I was kind of in between Oakland and Vallejo for a little bit. and I ended up going to a school in Vallejo, and that's where I actually graduated from, in Vallejo. Believe it or not, it was like this program I got into, and believe it or not, in Vallejo, no lie, I hate to say this, and this is no disrespect to anything in 916. They showed me more love as a stranger in Vallejo than they ever did in Sacramento. And that's why to this day, I give major love to the 707 to Vallejo. Seriously. Seriously. They showed me more love in the V Town as a stranger than they ever did in Sacramento, bro. Facts. And that's why if you from the 707, bro, it's all good, bro. You feel me? It's all love. But yeah, so then once we left Vallejo, we came back to Oakland, lived in the 30s. The whole family ended up coming back from Sacramento. Then from Sacramento, we ended up in Richmond area. Lived in Richmond for a minute, lived in San Pablo for a minute, lived in Hercules for a quick minute. And then we bought the house where I'm at now in El Sobrani. And I've been in the Bay ever since, bro, and I've never looked back. You feel me? And that's the story of my time in Sacramento. Very complicated story. But yeah, man, Vallejo showed me hella love, bro. Hella love. One love to my boy Arturo and my boy Milo out there. You feel me? And Mike Estrada. And who else I used to know? Kiki Local. And who else I knew in Vallejo? That fool Snoop. And R.I.P. to Tiny. And all them cats I used to know out there, bro. Them fools were hella cool. Them buckles in Vallejo, bro. The homies in Vallejo were hella cool. For reals. They showed me love. They never questioned me. They never said, oh, you ain't from here. You ain't one of us. None of that, bro. They just showed me love, bro. And I never forget that. Never, bro. But yeah, they showed me love because I look like E40. But the runner took your manhood. But you know what? Kinda. They already had the BBH boys, the Brown Brotherhood, the Sureños, and the Norteños were deep back then. They had the Barrio Centro Vallejo, and they had Brown Pride Norteños. They had BBH. They had the Crestsiders, which were the black dudes, the Hillside. What else they had? They had Suicide, which was Southside. College Park. Those are the ones I remember. East Vallejo. But yeah, Vallejo, man, I'm telling you, they showed me major love. You know what I mean? Even the women in Vallejo showed me major love. So you feel me? I always, to this day, there's a saying I always say, and I think I've said it on here before. If I wasn't from Oakland, I'd love to be from Vallejo, for reals. And I'm not even making that up. You feel me? But and I always go to Vallejo. I'm always in Vallejo all the time. I live close to Vallejo. I go out there all the time, bro. But yeah, man, Vallejo always had love for the V Town. You feel me? But going back to what Esapela told me, uh, yeah, that's want to talk about Mexican food in Sacramento. I don't want to clown Sacramento, bro. I'm sorry, man. If you're from the 916, don't take this the wrong way, for reals. Because I don't mean to bash your city. I don't. I'm just not from there, bro. And I'm just giving my take. That's it. But man, bro, when I lived in Sacramento, I could never find a good Mexican restaurant. Why lie? And now there's other restaurants that are bomb in Sacramento. Don't get me wrong. But Mexican restaurants, at least at that time, compared to something you could find in the Mission District or on Fruitvale or on 23rd in Richmond, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah, or maybe even San Jose. I didn't know San Jose at that time, or even San Jose, but I'm talking about from the times I knew, because I knew about Richmond. Believe it, and I'm a mess with your mind, Cepeda, if you're still watching. I grew up going to Pepito's in Richmond, right there on 23rd and Ream. We used to go eat there as a kid in the Rich. It's not there no more, sadly. But that place was bomb, blood. Pepito's in the Rich. So, a place like Pepito's, like Mi Rancho in Oakland, like Mexicali Rose, La Borriqueña, like Otayes, like the taco trucks on East 14th, or like El Farolito in Mission, or La Taqueria, or the pupusas in the Mission. Bro, in Sacramento, I hate to say it, I could not find nothing like that. They could even compete. I think even their best restaurant that I tried at the time was probably like Bay Area wise was probably like okay here, would be okay here. But yeah, I could never. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I went to the wrong spots, but yeah, I could never find a spot that was hella. I was like, damn, this place is hella good. Now I did find spots that were more different cultures that was good in Sacramento. Like there's a burger place called Willie's. That place is fire. You feel me? In Sacramento. There's a kebab place too, a Persian place called Famous Kebab on Fulton. Oh man, that place screaming. You feel me? And more. Yeah, man. So it's like just the, but there are good restaurants in Sacramento. Don't get me wrong. There's good food out there. Trust me. There's some good. I remember there used to be a really good Italian restaurant. It closed down though, but that was one of my favorite spots called the Espanol restaurant. It was on Folsom, I think. I remember that spot was good. They used to sell good pastas there. Um, and there was a few of those Shakey's Peaks. I remember there was Shakey's Peaks out there back then. Um, there was a few places. There was a few. I can't remember, but remember there was a few Asian restaurants that were pretty good too. Um, but outside of that, like Mexican restaurants, yeah, I mean, there were some okay ones. Like I remember there was one called Jarritos. It was on Broadway. That one was okay. There was one called Alonso's, I think. It was on Stockton and Fruit Ridge. That place was okay. Trying to think. It's so long. There's a couple other ones that I remember. I remember my family, these family members of mine owned one in North Sac called, damn, I can't remember what it was called. That place was pretty decent. I think it might even still be there. It was like these distant relatives I had out there. And yeah, there weren't a lot. They didn't have taco trucks in Sacramento. At least at that time, they didn't. You know what I mean? There were no taco trucks in Sacramento back then. That's one thing I miss, bro, going to the taco truck. Because, Migriense and El Zamorano and all the stuff that used to be in Oakland, you feel me? Like, they didn't have that out there. You feel me? It was like, they didn't have that. So I miss that, bro. You feel me? But yeah, man. Those were my memories in Sac, bro. Oh, another thing, Sacramento-wise, there was a lot of like serial killers and like weird shit that happened when I was out there. Now, Dortia Puente, those of you who know her story, she was the old lady that drugged a bunch of people and buried them in her backyard. That happened before I moved to Sacramento. I was still in Oakland when that happened. That happened in '88. Now, when I first moved to Sacramento, I do remember. Uh, I do remember. There was a guy who got arrested called the Thrill Killer. I think his name was Eric Royce Leonard. You could look him up. And when I moved out there, he was he was just arrested, I think, when I moved out there. And he was a serial killer who was going around robbing places and just shooting people even after they gave him the money. He was a white dude. And then the Good Guys thing happened out there. Have you guys ever heard of the Good Guys hostage situation where supposedly there were some Asian gang members from a gang called Asian Boys or something like that. They had went into a Good Guys at Florin Mall, which was not too far from where I lived. I actually knew that Good Guys. They went into that mall and took a bunch of hostages and then got into a shootout with the police, and a bunch of hostages got killed. And almost all the dudes who took over, the good guys, got killed except one. One survived. Uh, but yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was, there was like those crazy things that happened when I was out there. I remember I had this weird teacher who ended up killing his wife, Mr. Castorina. I actually made a video about that lunatic. He was weird. He was a weirdo. You feel me? Is there a lot of bloods in Sac? I don't remember blood. I don't remember. I remember hearing about it, but I'm sure there was. What's up, Kristen? How you been, blood? Yeah, well, back when I lived there, bro, there wasn't a lot of people from the Bay like there is now. For sure, now, for sure. It's like hella people from the Bay in Sacramento now. But back then, not so much, bro. Trust me, I would ask, and there weren't very many. You in Cancun? Shit, you should have took me, fool. I want to go. But yeah, man, those were my memories in Sacramento. I've never really gotten deep on how I ended up there, why I lived in Sacramento. Uh, but that's just my story of how I ended up in Sacramento. And I came back in '95 to uh to the Bay, and I ain't been back. I mean, I go to visit Sacramento, but living, nah, I'm cool. Sacramento's a nice place to visit. I love going out there, bro, but uh, I have no interest in living out there. I'm from Detroit. I've been living in Sac since 2000. Oh, you from Detroit? Detroit City? Where are you from? Are you black or are you Latino? There's a Latino dude who comes on here from Detroit. He's from he's from Southwest Detroit, from Mexican town. Detroit City. That's a trippy place. People say Detroit's like Oakland. Oh yeah, they've made a lot of documentaries about Tortilla Puente. So if anybody got any questions in the comments, anybody want to leave any super chats, anybody want to give me any money, feel free to spend all your hard-earned check on Oakland Latinos United. If I could keep on bringing you the stuff, you feel me? Any questions about Sacramento at the time? Again, I can't, I can't speak on Sacramento today because I don't live out there now, so I don't know what it's like now out there. You feel me? I know a lot has changed since then, so I wanted to compare it to 1993 when I was out there, 92, 94. It's kind of hard. You drive to Sac right now. I probably would too. Cash App, if you want to leave anything for the Cash App, want to leave a super chat, come on, man. Help your brother out. I give you all this content. I used to live in Oakland too. Love Oakland. Oh yeah, what part of Oakland? Last time I had sex in Sac was 2015. Was it? Yeah, 2015. In the East. What was there to have fun as a teen outside? I don't know, bro. I'm not from Sac. Good question. I was trying to figure that out myself. Mine was the Sacramento Fair was cool. Old Sac was kind of cool. Um, uh, Downtown Plaza was a pretty cool area for to hang around. You want to look for girls. Uh, what else? I know they used to cruise on Broadway, but I didn't have a car then, so I couldn't do that. Well, Chris can ask. He says, "When's the last time?" Oh, wait, let me see that question again. I think that's what he asked me. He said, "What was the last time you had sex in Sac?" And I said, 2015. Gracias. I literally, yes, I had sex in Sacramento in 2015. So yes, good sex like that. but um, but yeah, man. Before that, the last time I had messed around with a girl in Sac was in 2000. No, 1999. Yeah, 1999. I was already living in the Bay, but me and my homie, we used to know this little runner up there. So when we would go up there and visit, we would hit her up. So that was the last time. Before that, yeah, that it was like that when I lived in Sacramento, bro. The RT, what do they call it? RT, I think. They would stop hella early. What was it? Then I'm on his way. Yeah, but I mean, when you're coming from a place where buses run all night, you have BART and all that, bro. It's a trip. Thank you, Frazier. But yeah, man. So what's up? Who else got questions? What you guys think about my story? Like I said, I never really got into depth of my time in Sacramento, why I left, why I was out there, why I lived there. I never really, I never really I never really told you guys that story. So I wanted to do this live and tell you that story, why I ended up out there. Not even close shortcuts. I don't flow that way. It's crazy because there is a large community out there of that, bro. Especially down like Midtown Sacramento. Chicano. Huh. I like Citrus Heights. I remember Citrus Heights. That's going towards like Sunrise, right? Like Citrus Heights, what's that? Antelope, Elkhorn, I think, no, Antelope. I know where Citrus Heights, Greenback, and Citrus Heights. I know those North Highlands and all that. I know those areas. Is Sac Hoods harder than Oakland Hoods? I mean, at the time, it didn't seem like it. They had hard hoods, but yeah, it wasn't like the town, bro. Not even close. At least to me, that's what I felt. You know what I mean? Like the mission at that time and Oakland at that time was way more fucking crazier than any hood I had been to in Sac at that time. And I'd only been to a few hoods in Sac, so remember I was young, bro. I couldn't get around like that. Or Richmond at that time, you know what I mean? Mexican American don't like to get up. I know that. Tell me about it, Frazier. In many ways, that is true. That's me. I wake up and I'll be in my bed spaced out for like an hour before I actually get out of bed. Unless I really just have to get up and leave. But that's, in a way, it's a true statement. You feel me? At least for me. I don't know about everybody else. But yeah, man. So what you guys think about my story tonight? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Did you guys know that part of my history? I know I talk about Oakland a lot. I talk about the Bay a lot. But I never really talked about my time when I was a teenager and when I moved to Sacramento and all that good stuff. Now, one thing that I did notice where I don't know how it would have been if I would have been in Oakland because I wasn't in Oakland, so that's unrealistic. I don't know. That's a good question. It depends. I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to say, bro. I mean, with how expensive the Bay Area is now, maybe, but Sacramento's getting really expensive too. Could it be? Yeah, hit the like button. Thank you, Joanna. Hit the like button. Donate a super chat. Donate to the Cash App. Help brother out. Feel me? Don't be stingy. But yeah, I don't know if you guys ever knew that part of my story. You feel me? But that's how I ended up out there. No, for me, I was saying like I noticed that I fucked around a lot in my 20s instead of being on my purpose because I had lived in Sacramento and because when I was out there, I didn't know anybody. I didn't get to have fun as a teenager like I would have somewhere else if I would have stayed out here, probably. And I noticed I kind of made up for it when I was in my 20s and I messed around a lot and it threw me off from getting on my purpose quicker. You feel me? And now I'm playing catch up. Now, sometimes I wonder if I had stayed in Oakland, would it have been different? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to say. Maybe I wouldn't be alive if I would have stayed in Oakland. Maybe I would have got deep in the game. Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't answer that, but I know that in my 20s I messed around a lot. You know what I mean? Because you know, because I felt in Sacramento I didn't have fun. I didn't get to enjoy my teenage years. I didn't know anybody. You know what I mean? It was like I was a stranger in a strange land, like I said earlier. No, I keep hearing about the WAC 100. I haven't heard it, bro. But it's probably something retarded and stupid, like he always says. Isn't that what that guy's known for? So I'm not surprised. I'll probably watch it though. Maybe I'll make a reaction about it. Maybe I would have been dead. Who knows, bro? Who knows? You know. Maybe I would have came out good. You never know, bro. I mean, I came back to Oakland. I started kicking it right away in the streets of Oakland back then. So you feel me? I'm here. So I was out there when all the crazy shit was going on. When I came back from Sac in '95, I was out there when they had side shows. I was out there when they had the lowrider car show. Uh, I was out there when they rioted in the '40s. You feel me? 1998. I was out there when the Raiders riot. I was out there when San Antonio Park used to be Cinco de Mayo. I was out there when what else? Shit, I was out. Hey, Short Cepeda. I was in Richmond when they had a riot on 23rd Street. You would stay. You would have been at the Blade. Oh, hey, what's up, Oakland? Damn, I haven't seen you on hell long. I would have been a West Oakland pimp. But you know what? Living in Sacramento, it never took the Oakland from me. Matter of fact, it probably made me more proud to be from Oakland than probably when I was in Oakland. You feel me? For reals. But yeah, man, that was my story. I'm trying to think what other things I remember about Sacramento that are different from the Bay. There's a few other things that I had on my mind. I can't remember though. You feel me? But yeah, but when I came back to the Bay, it was fun, bro. I remember we used to go to San Jose, kick it out there on Cinco de Mayo, bro. It used to get lit out there. It used to get lit in San Jose back then. No, I never lived in Southern California, bro. I've lived in the Bay Area all my life, bro. I've been to LA. I got to have a family in LA, but I've never lived out there. Those smoked Dos Equis. What do you mean? But what else was I gonna say? San Jose. Now it's very gentrified, bro. A lot of tech. But in the old days, it was very Chicano for sure, very Latino. Still is in some place like the east side of San Jose. Um, but it's crazy shortcuts. You probably see me out there back in the days, bro, because we were always in some of the same spots. Sacramento malls were cool. I remember Florin Mall, Arden Mall. My favorite was the downtown plaza in downtown Sacramento. That was my favorite mall, K Street area. Would I live in D? I got family in DC, bro. But would I live there? I don't know. Yeah, Big Herd. That fool probably was out there when I was out there. I don't know what part of Sacramento he's from though. I lived in South Sacramento. Can you believe it took me a year living in there that I was that I realized I was living in South Sac, he would bust through my cheeks. He would split my wig. Yeah, when I was out there, I didn't even know what side of town I was in, bro. I was like, where am I? And one day, one dude told me, oh, this is South Sac. I'm like, oh, okay. Bro, I'm not from here. I didn't even know where I'm at, bro. It took me a minute to even learn the area code. I didn't even know where the area code was. You feel me? It probably was me. Shortcuts. It probably was me. You feel me? I even went out there telling fools I'm from East 7th Street. My brother's from 36 Locals, and they didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, bro. When I went out to the Sac, I was like, yeah, bro, I'm from East 7th Street. My brother's from 36 Locals. They're like, what's that? I was like, oh, that's the barrios in Oakland, bro. Like, yeah, man. They didn't know what the fuck that. They didn't even know what the Mission District was. I remember I used to ask fools, hey, you ever heard of the Mission District in San Francisco? And they're like, no, I never heard of that. Where's that? I'm like, bro, that's a crazy ass hood in San Francisco. They didn't even know, bro. You know, this was before Gold Toes, Julios, and all that, man. You feel me? No one out there really knew where the Mission was. They didn't know what Fruitvale was. Oh, the one thing people would tell, okay, this is the one that fucking annoyed me in Sacramento. Uh, a lot of raza in Sacramento. And yes, you guys did this to me out there. A lot of raza in Sacramento used to always tell me, "Oh, you from Oakland? That's a trip." And I was like, "What do you mean?" "Oh, I didn't know there was Mexicans in Oakland. I thought it was all blacks." Like, what the fuck? I would get that all the time in Sacramento, so much so that I got tired of hearing that, man. I think that's one of the reasons Oakland Latinos United exists today. It's probably trauma from that. You feel me? But I used to always hear that, mostly from Raza. You feel me? Yo, Jose, what? Yeah. I mean, I grew up a leftist, bro. I could never really be a right winger, but I'm definitely a centrist now, center left. Um, but yeah, man, I used to get mad at that, bro. Like, oh, I thought Oakland's only black people. There ain't no Mexicans in Oakland. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, most people do. And us from Oakland, bro, we get sick of hearing that, bro. Those of us who grew up in a barrio in Oakland, because I grew up in a barrio, bro. I mean, let's keep it real. Where I grew up, it was almost all raza, bro. You feel me? Yes, there were black people. There were some Asians too, but it was probably 90% raza where I grew up in Oakland. No lie. I'm not even making that up. Everybody spoke Spanish. Everybody was raza. Everywhere you'd go in my neighborhood, you'd smell beans and rice in the afternoon, bro. You feel me? Cooking. That's how it was, bro. So for people to tell me, oh, there's no raza in Oakland, bro, fuck you. Come to my hood for a day. I'll show you a motherfucking barrio in Oakland. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I mean, when it comes to one-on-one leftist, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Oaklander. Yes, I'm a leftist. I'm always probably going to be a leftist, but again, I'm probably more center left now. I'm not a hardcore leftist, if that's what you mean. I'm from the Bay, bro. Hella Cubans. I mean, I guess because I grew up in a straight up barrio in Oakland, bro. I didn't grow up in the deep. I grew up in Fruitvale. I grew up around so many Chicanos and Mexicanos, bro, and Central Americans that I was like, okay, there's hella raza in Oakland. You feel me? So that was weird to me when I moved to another city and it was like, oh, it's only blacks. It's only blacks. I'm like, bro, you don't know about Oakland, bro, so don't speak on it. You feel me? They got some in downtown. They got the new parish. They got yeah, they got a few. They got the Legionnaire still there. The new parish. There's a few in downtown for sure. I'm not a Trumper, Gato Negro. You know that. Redwood City. I know. There's hella raza in Redwood City. But yeah, man, that was my story. So what do you guys think about my story of Sacktown? So where am I from, man? Am I from Sacramento or am I from Oakland? You guys tell me in the comments where do you think I'm from? Am I from Sac or am I from Oakland? I won't get mad. What do you see me as? A town fool or you feel me? Yeah, Sacramento was a lot of different. Was very different than now. Narnia, you're from America, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to say they were hating on the town, but definitely it was like it wasn't the love you would think they would have for the guy. In Vallejo, they showed me more love, bro. From Cordelia. Hey, Julio. I messed around with this fine ass black girl in Cordelia once. You know, her Piedmont. Yeah, I'd rather be from Piedmont any day. Shit. I wish I was from Piedmont. I'd be rich. I know where Cordelia is. That's by Fairfield. I messed around with this cute broad there one time back in the days. Northern Middle Earth. Piedmont? I wish I was from Piedmont, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I wish I was from Piedmont. I wish I was from fucking what's the one above Piedmont? ¿Cómo se llama? What the hell? Montclair Village. I wish I was from Montclair Village. You know, I know a Chicano from the 30s who lives in Montclair Village. No lie, bro. I'm from South Oakland. Hey, Lucrative, does my story about Sacramento sound kind of like your story in San Diego? But you know, I don't. This video is not to hate on anyone from Sacramento or disrespect the city. Nah, man, I got much love for Sacramento. I don't hate the city. I don't. You know, I got hella family in Sacramento. You feel me? Hella family actually in Sacramento. Close family. I mean, you know what I mean. Um, but you know, just my time there, I didn't enjoy it the way I just didn't enjoy it. And it wasn't my hometown. It wasn't my home. I didn't feel at home there. And I felt like I didn't belong. There was no reason for me to be there. So I came back home and I'm back home. You feel me? And that's just what it is. It's a nice place to visit. I love going out to Sac to visit. Hell, me and Shortcuts went last year. We had hella fun out there. But I don't want to live there. That's all. Point blank, period. But you know, much love to all my followers from the 916 from Sacktown. Watch my Sacramento videos, man. I made a whole bunch of them, and people don't even watch them. For some weird reason, they're my lowest watched videos. I'm not even making that up. My videos, from Stockton and Modesto get more views. Is there like yeah? There were some. I remember the Blade out there when I was living out there was I think on Stockton Boulevard, Oakland. Or I'm from Eugene, Oregon. Hey, Cepeda, you don't remember that place in Richmond called Pepitos? You don't remember that spot? It used to be on 23rd near Ream, right next to the car wash. I grew up going to that place, bro. Believe it or not, when I in the 80s and when I was a kid, my parents we used to go to Richmond and eat there at Pepitos, bro. And when I moved to the Richmond area the first time, we used to go eat there all the time. That place was bomb. I miss that place, man. That place was hella good in Richmond on 23rd. I don't know if you remember that place. I know Cepeda, you gotta remember. If you from the rich, bro, you know where Pepitos is, bro. Pito. No mama's way. Nah, but if Cepeda, you say you from the rich, you know that spot, bro. Because even I'm from Oakland and I grew up going there. And that place was fire, bro. I used to eat there all the time. Actually, no. Lastly, it's more dangerous in Oakland now than Richmond. Richmond used to be off the hook back in the days. I live in the Richmond area now. I live in El Sobrani, which is right next to Richmond. And Richmond's way more chill than it used to be. When I first moved out this way, Richmond was off the hook, bro. But I think Richmond's more chill now. Yeah, by the high school, right next to the car wash, right there on 23rd and Ream. Right down the street, bro. Pepito's right across the street from the burger place, from Philly's Burgers. Philly's is good too. That's still there. Right on 23rd. But yeah, Pepito's, bro. I remember going there as a kid, bro. We used to go eat there. Yeah, Sacramento's hella hot, bro. I'm telling you, bro, them 100-degree weather, bro. When the first time I felt that, I was like, what the hell is this? I'm in hell. It was hot. I wasn't used to that kind of heat, bro. You know another thing that used to trip me out? That at least back then, I don't know. Again, this is Sacramento 1993. I do not know how it is now. So don't be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Another thing I remember, and Ricardo Ignacio kind of proved this, is when I used to live in Sacramento, uh, people didn't know much about the cities in the Bay Area. So when I would mention like Richmond or Hayward or like Concord or like other cities, they wouldn't know what I was talking about. They'd be like, where? I'd be like, Hayward. You never heard of Hayward? Nah. You ever heard of San Leandro? Nah. Really? They would know the big cities like Oakland, San Francisco, or Hayward, or San Jose. But when it comes to the other cities like Hayward or San Leandro, San Lorenzo, Alameda, make Berkeley maybe, Richmond, they wouldn't know what I was talking about. They'd be like, where? I'm like, Hayward. You never been to Hayward? Nah. You ever been to Richmond? No, I don't even know where that's at. Like, wow. You ever been to Oakland? They'd be like, oh, I've been to the Coliseum once. So, someone early asked me if there was a lot of A's fans or Giants fans. I remember there were some A's fans. I met a couple of Giants fans, but there was a lot of fans who like out of state teams too, which I thought was kind of interesting. Yeah, Ignacio, you don't remember when he was on one of my lives? I asked him if he knew certain cities in the Bay Area. I think we asked him if he knew where South San Francisco and Daly City was, and he didn't know where they were. Remember, he was like, "Where?" I'm like, South San Francisco, Daly City. He's like, "Oh, I don't know where that's at." Like, okay, oh yeah, Red Onion's still there. They got three of them, bro. They got the Red Onion right there by the El Cerrito border, kind of down the street from the El Cerrito del Norte Bar. They got one in El. They got one right down the street from my house in El Sobrani, and they got on Appian, and they got one because I deliver those places all the time. They got one on in Pinot, right by Pinot Valley Road, right by Pinot High School. They got a Red Onion right down the street from Pinot Valley High. But yeah, Red Onion's still around. That place is pretty bomb. I've been there. Kind of pricey though. They still got Nations. They didn't have those places out there though. In fact, they didn't. I don't think they have Nations now in Sacramento though. That is one thing they do have now in Sacramento. I will admit they have a Nations now. When I lived there, they didn't have Nations. I was wearing these earlier. I was wearing the Jordan 13s, and they're blue. What you gonna do about it? Chevys. I used to like going to Chevys. But yeah, man. The Chevys right there. And is the one in Emeryville still there? Nations and Sack sucks. Really? The one out here is pretty good. They got one in San Pablo and they got one in El Cerrito. They got one in Pinole too, I think. Yeah, by Montalban Manor they got one. You know where I know Esepeda knows where Montalban Manor is. But yeah, Sacramento has Nation. They didn't have it when I lived there though. I knew it was only a matter of time. Yeah, we're obsessed with them. I'm actually right now wearing some chanclas. Look, you guys are gonna laugh. There's some troop chanclas. Old school town shit. Yeah. But regardless, man, guy likes Nation. It's a long way. I heard that. Yeah, those are dope. But yeah, man, on Truxell, I know where Truxell Road. Hey, Leslie, uh, Lasley, my bad, Marquise Lashley, Truxell Road. That area wasn't nothing when I lived in Sacramento. That area, like Natomas, was nothing, bro. It was just fields as far as the eye could see, bro. I'm not even lying to you. Chevy's, watered down drinks. I haven't been with Chevy's in a long time, bro. Make sure you don't trip on the troops. Your points. Yeah, this is how long ago this was, bro. This was 1993, 92, 94. There weren't, there was nothing out there, bro. Nothing. Just like Elk Grove, there was nothing in Elk Grove, bro. Elk Grove was barely anything, bro. You would pass it, and there was just fields as far as the eye could see, bro. I don't even think Elk Grove was a city yet. I think Elk Grove was part of the county at that time. So was Rancho Cordova was kind of built up back then, but Rancho Cordova, I remember they had the Air Force base out there, Mather, and and that area was still part of the county. It wasn't part of the city yet. It wasn't a city. It was like Rancho Cordova was part of Sacramento County. Now it's its own city, from what I've been told. What's up, Richie Lokes? San Juan. I don't know where San Juan is, but I know where Truxell Road is. I know that area a little bit. Not that well, but I know what you're talking about. That's like North Sacramento. Burrito. Yeah, man. I'm about to get off in a minute. But yeah, man, that was my story. What you guys think of my story, though? Lisa's, I don't know whatever happened there. I haven't seen her in a long time. North Natomas. Hey, did you guys hear about that dude, 1312? He was one of the dudes. He had a minor disagreement with someone on here, but regardless, I heard that fool got arrested, bro. Supposedly they caught him with hella fentanyl, is what they're saying. You know what I mean? But yeah, that fool got arrested. That's crazy. But it is what it is, man. Some fools when then if you in the he allegedly got arrested, you know what I mean? Allegedly got caught with that. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what they're saying. And it's like, I don't wish bad for the dude. It's just like, man, when you in the game, man, it'll get you caught up. That's just all I could leave. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thanks, Fraser. But yeah, man, outside of that, that is my Sacramento story. So I am officially from Sacramento, California, 916, Sacktown, the Mactown. But anyway, so what's up, man? Is that it? Should I get off or should I stay a little bit longer? Come on, man. You guys ain't gonna leave no super chat or nothing. Put some in the comments at least. Say what's up to a brother. Sacramento United. What's up, Russell? So, did you watch the whole live? Oclamento. Don't even sound right. Oclamento. Keep going. I'll give it for a little bit. I want to go get some food. I'm probably going to go eat. Oh, okay. I talked about how I ended up in Sacramento for almost 4 years, like 3.5 years, and my story. Because I've talked about living in Sacramento before, but I never really broke down the whole story of how we ended up out there, and how I ended up back in the Bay Area. But yeah, man, with Brad Pitt. Yeah, man. How's everything in San Ho? 408 in the house. Sacramento. You know what? There was a dude. There was a channel that was going around trolling me for a while, and it was called Sacramento Latinos United. I don't know if you guys remember that. Better in the Bay. Yeah, I mean, I'm from the Bay, bro. So it just felt. It just felt. I felt out of place out there. Like I didn't belong there, bro. Unfortunately, I never could get used to it. You know what? A mixture. Some didn't like it, but some did. I know some of the black girls used to kind of like me in Sacramento, but some Latinas did too. And I didn't understand why though. Like I'm like, why these black girls like me? And I kind of get it now. I'm like, oh, okay, because I had that Oakland swag. But some of the Raza girls liked me too, though. They kind of liked it too. Yeah. Nah, but the Latinas too, bro. Some of them liked it too. They liked that I was just different. Like, oh, he's from Oakland. Oh, you know what I mean? It was kind of like this little mystique. They thought you was Olmec. Probably. I look like an Olmec head, don't I? Maybe that's why I like Veracruz so much. That's where they found the Olmec eggs. I heard one girl I messed with in Sacramento. She got on me one day. She was like, "Oh, you don't want to talk to me no more because you're from Oakland. You think you're a player. All them fools in Oakland think they're pimps." She was a Chicana girl. She told me that. She's like, "You Oakland dudes all think you're pimps." That was hella funny. Yeah, for sure. You know what? Rasa, so I don't remember meeting anyone from San Jose out there though. I did I? I think I met one dude, one when I was out there, and I think he told me he was from San Jose, but he moved to Sac when he was hella little, so he didn't. He didn't really know too much about San Jose. What happened to the King Mexico? I talked to him from time to time. I was on a show one time on his channel. Maybe I might invite him back one day. He's cool. I talk to him from time to time. Goldie showed me. That's right. I was the Mac God. He don't count no more. Yeah, it was his full name, Eli. I forget his last name. Chicano dude, but he yeah, he told me he was from San Jose, but he didn't know much about San because I used to ask him, hey, what's San Jose like? He's like, oh, I moved here when I was little, bro. So I don't know. I don't remember too much. So yeah, there weren't a lot of there weren't a lot of bad. I'm telling you, Rasa Soul. I was saying earlier, when I lived there in the early '90s, there were not a lot of people from the Bay Area out there. At least not in my school. Nah, this was before scrapers, bro. Yeah, you know what? I met more people from San Jose out here, bro, than I did out there. Because I've met San Jose folks in Oakland, and I met San Jose folks in Concord before when I worked out that way. I met some even around here where I live now. There's some San Jose people out here. I met a couple. So yeah, I've met more San Jose people in the East Bay than I did when I was living in Sacramento. They got them out here, not a lot, but there are some. I've met a few. I got a few homies from San Jose that live out this way. I got one homie in Hayward. I know another dude who lives around here, and I think he lives in Richmond. So yeah, I've met some folks from San Jose out here, but I've never met any. Not in Sac. I don't like I said. Not in Sac. There weren't that many at Oakland Skilo. Everyone wanted to be talking. Yeah, that was different back then. Like I was saying, Rasa. So when I was in Sacramento back then, the black dudes they were more on the LA thing. They were more like dressing like Easy E and stuff. Like they were more on that hype, that kind of Crip and Blood type of hype. It was different than the Oakland fools. Now Oaklander they didn't have scrapers, but this was way before scrapers, bro. Scrapers is what like 2003, four. This is like 1992, 93, bro. That's what Cougars and Stains and Falcons and Cutlasses and Lowriders. That's what fools were rolling in Oakland when I was back in those times. 6'4" Impalas, 6'5" Impalas, 7'3" Impalas, box Chevs. You feel me? That's what town fools were rolling. Now Easy you was still alive then. Yeah, they didn't do sideshows in Sacramento back then. Now they do, but not back then. But now there's hella people from the Bay now. It's probably totally different now than when I lived there. I'm telling you, bro, I'm not even making this up. When I lived there, there weren't, at least at my school, I'm not gonna say the whole city of Sacramento, but but at my school there were very few Bay Area people. Again, I could probably count them on my fingers the people I met from the Bay at that school. And that was a school with like 5,000 kids. Too short, yep. Yeah, the IROCs, all that shit, bro. That was that era. People forget a lot of motherfuckers used to have lowriders in Oakland too back then. That's the thing people don't remember. They try to act like it wasn't like that. Yeah, they did. They actually did Rasa business. Yeah, for sure. I remember people bumping like Too Short and a 415 and RBL Posse and all that. So yeah, they were bumping it. Probably did, Rick. He probably did, Rasa. Yeah, they didn't know about Dangerous Dame though. I remember I showed Dangerous Dame to a couple people out there. They didn't know about him, but they knew about Too Short and MC Hammer and you know and Vogue and all the shit that was coming out the Bay, Digital Underground. They knew about all that. So yeah, they was bumping it out there. But yeah, man. Anybody got any more questions? Anything they want to add into the conversation? I remember when I lived in Oakland in 2004. Yeah, that was the hyphy movement in 2004. I showed up in a Civic. I can't remember what kind of car my parents had when we moved out to Sacramento. Hey, shortcuts. You know what? Let's go to the fair, bro. This year, this summer. The fair be off the chains, bro. And Marquise, lastly, I'm pretty sure will agree with me. The Sacramento State Fair, that should be lit, bro. I actually do like going to the state fair, believe it or not. That is actually pretty fun. I'm down to go, bro. We'll do a video out there and everything. You ever put anybody in Sac or were you flying solo? I had a few homies. I got sucker ass fool Brandon, sucker ass nigga. If you watching, but sucker. But I had him. I had my boy Tommy, the twins, Tommy and Terry. They were my homies. A couple bicep dudes I was cool with, and There was a couple other folks, but yeah, I was solo. I was kind of like lightweight solo, and I had a couple homies here and there. But no, I wasn't like if I would have been in Oakland, bro, I probably would have known everybody. But out there, I didn't know shit. So yeah, yeah, I didn't like Brother Lynch that much, bro. He came out when I was out there. Well, Brandon, dude, he's just a sucker, bro. You know when we say in the town, you a sucker. You feel me? That's what he is, bro. That fool got so many Oakland passes from me, bro. Sad, bro. Yeah, I didn't like Brother Lynch as much. I like Sibo more. I was that was the first time. That was another thing. That was the first time I'd ever heard of uh of Sacramento rappers. I didn't even know they had Sacramento rappers. I had heard of X Rated and Brother Lynch were the first ones I heard of, and then I heard about Sibo, and I like Sibo and X Rated more than I like Brother Lynch. Brother Lynch was okay, but yeah, his early stuff was weird for sure. Let's just put it like this: Brandon, he's a good person, bro. I don't wish bad upon him. He was one of the few cats from the Bay I met out there when I was living in Sac that me and him were tight. And by chance, he ended up moving back to the Bay when I moved back to the Bay. So we reconnected in the Bay when he was back here. He was the homie that I told you guys before. And maybe I'll make a video about that. Remember, I told you guys that I used to kick it in Dublin a lot, and I knew the Dublin Pleasanton area real well. So he was from that area. So he ended up moving back to Dublin, Pleasanton. We lived in Dublin at that time. And because we were so close in Sacramento, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of his family was a lot of his family was from Dakota, from Hayward, you know what I mean? Even though he was born in Dublin, Pleasanton area, most of his family was from Irvington. There were no Daniels, bro, like from Irvington, from Dakota, from Hayward. You know what I mean? So I would kick it with him in Dublin all the time, but then I would bring him to the town, and I introduced him to everybody in the town I knew, bro. So he got hella. He used to literally that dude used to literally be able to walk down East 7th Street, and everyone on East 7th Street showed him love, bro. He would literally be able to walk down 36th Street because of my brother, and everyone on 36th would show him love, bro. Who else is gonna do that for a homie like that, bro? You feel me? He got Oakland passes, bro, and that food, you know what I mean? Just went all bad. That's all I can say. You feel me? Then I'll just leave it at that. But it is what it is. You know, fools forget all the stuff you did for them. Now, what do you guys think? It's just a homie of mine that I had met when I was living in Sacramento. One of the few dudes from the Bay. You feel me? That we connected on that because we were both from the Bay. My homie Brandon, you know, we were both from the Bay, so we connected on that. We became like this, and then, like I said, we both ended up moving back to the Bay kind of around the same time. I think I moved first, and then he came after, like a year later. He graduated and he moved with his dad to Dublin, and then we reconnected in Dublin. He was in Dublin, so I would go kick it with him in Dublin, Pleasanton. I bring him to Oakland. We go out to the city. We go out and cruise on Cinco de Mayo in San Jose. Man, we did hella shit. It was hella fun kicking it with that fool. And you feel me? All I can say is he went all bad. That's that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I think I might have told shortcuts the story, but yeah, man. Bar views to lose. I know. I feel that. That baller feud. Best friends become strangers. Yeah, man. That's how it is, bro. And if he's watching, man, I don't got hate for you, bro. But if you want me to be your friend again, bro, you need to call me. That's it. That's all I ask. I don't ask nothing more. You feel me? But if not, then hey, It is what it is. Just a phone call away. That's it. But if not, then you a sucker in my book. But anyway, enough of that. Gooch watching. Yeah, bro. Where's Gooch? He ain't even on here tonight, huh? Ellie Gucci. You know what? You know what? You know what? Keep to your mission. Yeah, I mean, I put him out of my mind a long time ago. He only came up because I'm thinking about Sacramento tonight. And that's where I met the dude when I was living out in Sacramento. You know what I mean? And we became really good friends, like really good. I mean, like this. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's a Chicano. His name is Brandon, but he's a Chicano. Thanks, Rich. Gucci. 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 I would call that for Gucci. Funky Expedition. I was living in Sacramento when that came out. I think I still hadn't came back yet. I got a Tommy jacket. I got a couple Tommy outfits. I got Calvin Klein. I got a couple Tommy. I got a couple Ralph Lauren. I dress nice, brother. What's up, Northbound? Oh man, you missed the whole episode. Big baller. Nah, I'm not a baller. I just know how to shop cheap. That's my trick. Uber Eats. Nah, my boy Tommy. I had a homie named Tommy in Sacramento. He was hella cool. The twins. Those two twins, Tommy and Terry. Those were my boy. I still talk to them to this day. Those are cool homies from Sacramento that I still have to this day that I still talk to. Actually, they came and visited me like around the pandemic when there was nothing going on. They actually came down to the Bay to visit me, man. So that was pretty dope. I showed them around Oakland, around San Francisco. We went out to San Jose. We went to the Great Mall. I showed them all around the Bay. Is it? I bought this shirt. I only bought it a couple years ago. Like a year ago. The hat I bought like 3 years ago. Food and pull the plug. No, I'm still on. I'm about to go eat in a minute. I'm hungry. Tommy and Sincere. Nah, my boy Tommy though. He hella cool. Maybe he's watching. I don't know. Palo Alto, EPA or Palo Alto. I should have showed. Nah, we went out to San Jose. We went out to San Francisco, and I showed them around Oakland. But yeah, them fools came out to visit me, so that was cool, man. That was love. That was dope that they came out to visit me after all these years. I heard about that. The Tommy Hilfiger's races. I never really looked into it. So yeah, those are folks from SAC that I'm still hella cool with, bro, to this day. And also even on my Facebook, I got a couple people I was cool with in Sacramento that I still talk to from time to time. So not everybody in Sacramento was fucked up or anything like that. No, it was cool people out there for sure. I just didn't feel at home out there. That's all. That's the only. Y'all ain't ready for funny Trans Am truck yelling right now. What the hell? It's a conspiracy theory. Yeah, I don't know too much if he's racist or not. I just know I bought this shirt like 2 years ago. I bought the hat like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's a saucy ass outfit, so I like wearing it. It attracts attention, so fuck it. Really? Wow. I didn't know that. That sucks. I heard something on it, but I'm not sure. It looked like he riding through the hood video, riding through the hood. Yay, deep, who ride up to no good. Is that what you talking about? It's a rabbit hole. Really? He'll figure it out. Am I? True, yep. From Richmond. That's what Master P was claiming Richmond. I remember fools in Sac used to ask me that. They're like, hey, Jose, you from the Bay? Where's Master P from? He kind of sound country. Is he from Richmond or is he from Louisiana? I just think he was from Richmond. I was like, I think he's from Richmond. But I guess he was from Louisiana. But he used to claim Richmond back then, so I thought he was from the Rich. I remember Lil Rick. Lil Rick was from Richmond. That was another dope rapper back then. Lil Rick, a Filthy Phil. Yeah, from New Orleans. But you gotta remember, Northbound, in that era, Master P was living in Richmond. He was banging Richmond. He was claiming Richmond. 23rd Street Hustler. Remember that? West Coast Bad Boys, all that was coming out. If you from the Bay, old school, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I forget Ralph Lauren, undershirt, day neck, all stretched out. I got a Ralph Lauren shirt too. I got a couple of them. C Murder. I think he moved 21. Yeah, there was C Murder. There was what Silk the Shocker. Yeah, I remember when he switched up to the South. Like fools in like in Richmond and stuff were like in San Pablo, Richmond area were like they weren't happy with that. P Master. Remember there used to be a rapper they used to rap with him named King George. Who remembers him? King George and who were the other dudes' name? I already say Sip the Shocker, C Murder, a couple other ones. All Drake out T Hill and something they can feel. Still kryptonite breezes. Yeah, sis. Oh yeah, chili powder. I remember them. Remember Sin, CIN, Sin, Big Ed. Yep, Big Ed. I remember him. He was from the Rich. Yeah, I remember chili powder. I remember Sin. I remember New Breed of Gangsters. You know what I mean? Jay Jonas, Sin, and all that stuff. Chili powder. What was another one? King T, Silk, C Murder. I think Mystical. I think he was from the South. I don't think he was from Richmond. Kind of like Tupac. Yeah, Tupac was like from Marin City, from Oakland, from Hayward. No, not Hayward. From New Jersey or well, no. Baltimore, New York, from everywhere. L.A. There was that one rapper from Oakland who switched up to Sacramento. What was his name? Like Junebug Slim. That fool was from Oakland, from the deep, and then next thing you know, he's from Sacramento. Five different. Yeah, I know. I think in reality, Tupac was kind of a free floater, bro. He lived in so many places, bro, in his life. He wasn't really from one place. That's the way I look at him. He got the game. Mia X. I remember Mia X. Make him say, ooh. Sounded like he was taking a shit. That's what I'm saying. That's what I thought. Oh yeah, Mafioso. That album. It's the Mafiosos click. That was dope, bro. I used to have Mafiosos. Yeah, they were from the Rich. I don't remember what part of Richmond they were from, but I remember them. Yeah, Northbound. That fool was from the town. I met him in Oakland, bro, when he was promoting his first album. He's like, "Yeah, I'm from the deep. I'm from the '70s. You feel me? Get my album, bro." And then the next thing you know, that fool, I heard another album from him, and he's claiming South Sacramento. Like, what the hell? Like, how you go to him from the town claiming Sac? Even your boy Jose never did that. Never could I ever. I know, that's what I'm saying. And he was old already, too. Maybe. I don't know why he started claiming Sac. Maybe they showed him love in Sac and you said, oh, man, they showed me more love here than in Oakland. I don't know. You know what I mean? Even like I said earlier, I lived in Vallejo for a little bit, and they showed me hella love in Vallejo, and I never claimed Vallejo. And they showed me hella love in Vallejo, like for real, for reals. I got love for Vallejo though, for the V. Interview Fast Dave. That fool said he was gonna give me a mic. I hit him up today. He never got back at me, fucker. Hey Dave, you watching? Hit me up, blood. I live in Contra Costa, so you live there too. So come on, man. So if you see Dave, tell him to hit me up. For reals. I could use that mic for reals, for reals. That would improve my channel in more ways than one. I'll buy it off him too. He don't even have to give it to me. I'll pay for it. Bro, it's like people that ask me why you love Colombia so much. Colombia showed me hella love when I went out there, bro. At least the people that I was cool with in Colombia. That's why I got much love for Colombia. So you feel me? I understand. But nah, I'll even buy that microphone off Dave. For reals. Muffins. More like they buttered me arepas. Let's go. Vamos. I might be going out there this summer, hopefully. I'm really, really planning on it. Nah, but for real, there are some really cool people out there in Colombia, bro. Like personal friends, bro. They really showed me love out there, bro, which was dope. They didn't have to do that. You feel me? Güero. They don't use that term out there. That's a Mexican word, güero. What do they call white light skinned people? I think they call light skinned people monos, I think, or something like that. Or rubio. I can't remember what they call them. Do they have Oldsmobiles? Some people do. Back in the days, they used to have them more. Güero is, I think that's just a Mexican word, bro. Because even in El Salvador, oh, thanks, Frazier. Um, uh, I think this is in Mexico, bro. Because even in El Salvador, they don't say güero. They say chele. I don't know if in Guatemala they say chele, but I know in El Salvador, if you're light skinned, they say chele. That I don't know, Mr. J. I couldn't tell you. I wasn't out there for drugs. So yeah, I think güero is strictly a Mexican word, bro. I don't think they say it outside of Mexico. Canche? Oh, okay. See, in El Salvador, they say chele, chelon, same thing. Chale, yeah, similar to chale. So if you're light skinned in El Salvador, they'll say, oh, está chele. I think chele, este bicho. Oh, in Veracruz. Yeah, that's where they call me Güero in Veracruz. Yeah, that was funny. I was like, Güero? Some lady kept saying, hey, Güero. And I thought she was talking to a white dude. I thought maybe there was a white tourist. And I looked around like, where's the Güero at? And she was talking to me. I said, Güero? Now in Colombia, I think I heard them call light skinned people mono or rubio, I think, too. Pito. Yeah, they say that too in some parts of Colombia. I don't know if the whole country says that. Hey, if you got to Veracruz northbound, let me know. I want to go out there again. Hella badly. Veracruz is dope, bro. I like Veracruz. It's hot, but it's dope. Hella fun out there. I don't like morcilla, bro. The blood sausage. Ugh. I ate the chorizos they sell out there, but I didn't. I don't mess with morcilla. She thought I was calling Tom Cruise. What else they call it? Moronga, I think they call it too. The blood sausage. Oh, I'm cool. I don't like blood sausage. I tried it one time. Mm-mm. Y el camote. I don't know why people like blood sausage though. That is a thing in some Latin countries. They call it morcilla, I think, in Spanish. Some countries they call it moronga too. I'm cool. I don't. Ooh, I didn't like the taste. Is it a Colombian chorizo street vendor? I think I heard about it. Yeah, in Colombia too. I think they call them tortas. No, in Colombia, I think cakes are called tortas. Yeah, I remember in some parts of Mexico they don't call tortas. They call them lonches, especially in the northern part of Mexico. Oh shit, it's late. I want to get some food, man, before you know what I mean, before it gets too late. So I'm about to get off, man. I've been on here for like 2 hours, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks for that super chat, Frasia, towards a mic. Definitely got to get me a mic. Um, and I'm about to get off. I got to get off. I look comes out here now. I see a new Columbus store on these. Yeah, there's San Jose, bro. It's becoming the mecca of Colombians in California, bro. No lie. I ain't even making that up. The 408 is like the new little Columbia, bro. For reals. You're starting to have them out here from Pilsen. That's in Chicago. You're starting to see you're starting to see Colombians in the East Bay now too. I'm not sure why. That's a good question. I think some of them came out here for the tech jobs, um, but I'm not sure the specific reason. Colombians have been coming to California for a long time. They just were always a small community. They were, from what I know, they were mostly in Florida and in New York and in Houston, Texas. That's where their numbers were big. But they've always been in California, from what I know, but in small numbers. But I think maybe the ones that were here started bringing their families, and their families started bringing their families, and you know how it goes. Some also have moved from Miami and from those areas out here too. I know of one dude who told me he moved from New York. I met a Colombian dude recently who moved here from New York. Uh, so yeah, you're starting to see him not just in San Jose. You're even starting to see him now in Oakland, in Hayward, in Concord. They're starting to be out here. Even in Richmond, I met a few Colombians. So yeah, they're starting to be out this way now. But yeah, in the 408, there's hell of them, bro. A lot of them. They got a whole bunch of Colombian restaurants out there too. Oh, Hondurans have always been around, bro. In San Francisco and in San Francisco and In Oakland, they always had them, bro. I don't know. I don't want to get fast food though. I might go out and get something, but because I don't know. Oh, maybe I'll make something. I'm gonna see what's in the fridge. If not, I might step out and get something. But I don't want to eat nothing fast food though. If I do, maybe I'll get something that's not greasy. Maybe I'll go get a burrito too if a taco truck's open. But I gotta drive all the way to Richmond to get a taco truck to go to the taco truck. Remember, I'm in El Sobrani. Man, Richmond's not that far from here. All right, y'all. I'm about to get off. You guys be safe, man. And you know, hopefully you guys like my story about Sacramento. Again, if you're from the 916, no disrespect. I'm not talking shit about Sacramento, and and I don't hate Sacramento. I don't got nothing against the city. It's all love. You feel me? All Beta Sac love 916. We're all in Northern Cali anyway, so you know what I mean. We ain't got no drama with each other. You feel me? And hella people from the Bay is out in Sac anyway. But anyway. But that was just my story, my take. So don't take anything I say seriously. It just is what it is. That's just my take on my experience when I lived out there. And that's about it. Nah, I ain't going to Jack in the Box. I'm cool. Sounds good, but I'm cool. I can't eat too much fast food anymore. I really got to stop eating that stuff. You feel me? I've been trying hard not to eat anything fast food. All right, y'all. I'm going to let you guys go. You guys be safe. Late.